Technology is great, but it will never replace the need for face-to-face business relationships when you're doing business. I'm Jamie Gorman, host of Be Better at Business TV, and I'm here today with Basile Lemba, the founder of the Fairfax Breakfast Club and the Ultimate Nova Business Expo. And we're here to discuss how you can use trade shows to be better at business. Good morning, Basile.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So you can see I've got my trade show booth here, and I'm all set for next week to come in and do the trade show. And so I'm really excited about doing this show because I'm going to learn how to really make things successful for myself. So I'm a little bit getting ready for that.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've all been to trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about trade shows that makes them a good way or a great way to promote your business?
I say in a trade show you have three parts. You have the before the event,
Okay.
the during the event, and after the event. Before the event is promoting it as much as possible to the people who want to come see you and inviting them to come. During the event is mainly capturing as much identities as you can.
Right.
And then after the event is a follow-up on those identities.
Okay.
So I think if you can do those three things, the trade show becomes very much of a productive affair for you.
Okay. So really, we actually had somebody on a few months ago that talked about event marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's some of the same things we talked about, that by participating in a trade show,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you an event and a reason to go out and tell people before the trade show, hey, we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it provides an opportunity to collect leads,
Mm-hmm.
and then a reason to go out and follow up with people.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll go deeper. Having done that for 8 years, I think that the biggest benefit, sometimes I have phone call, people want to exhibit, they talk to me, I explain them the whole thing, and then at the end they ask me the price, I tell them the price, and they say, oh, well, you know what, I'm just going to be a guest. But I can tell you, it only recently I realized that by exhibiting, you are in the in
Right.
section of things.
Okay.
We give the exhibitor the complete list of the exhibitors.
Yes.
What we have found is that the exhibitors easily do business with one another.
Okay.
A conversation between a guest and an exhibitor is not the same conversation as an exhibitor to another one.
Ah.
See, that is quote unquote a secret
Right.
in itself.
Okay.
So I tell people, if there is your decision, you in or you out.
Right.
To be in, really, you have to be an exhibitor.
Right.
Now, I do understand some people, by the nature of their business, they don't exhibit. That's okay, but if you do, all of the benefits belong in the inside, which is to be an exhibitor.
Right. Well, that's a good point, because I've exhibited at some trade shows and I've built some good relationships as you're setting up, or as you're taking down, and that kind of a networking aspect among exhibitors becomes a pretty good reason to actually exhibit at one of these shows, especially if they are similar exhibits. If exhibitors match what your client base is, right?
When an exhibitor have the ear of the other exhibitors,
Yes.
that's the key thing. If they can ever use your service, they'll use it. They
Right.
don't question it, because I think I've thought about it a long time. I think Henry Ford was the one who defined that best. He says, coming together is a beginning, working together is success.
Right.
That's the only way I can explain that. When the exhibitor do an event, they're coming together. And from there, it just blossoms.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good thing for as you choose your event as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, what specifically makes the Ultimate Nova Business Expo one of the better events around?
That's confidential.
What do you tell exhibitors of why they should do this?
No, I'll say a couple of things. Generally, in an expo, most of them, somebody sell the booth to the exhibitors.
Right.
So they have them paid for. And then they go around to another group of people and say, hey, by the way, we have an exhibitor, go and talk to them. Ours is different because we already have an existing community of over 5,000 business owners and professionals.
Okay.
So we are in communication with them all the time. They are informed.
Okay.
When they walk through the door, they're not trying to see what kind of candies you have. They're coming to look for something that could benefit their business or themselves personally.
Okay.
They don't have a problem coming to you, and then they'll come to you and talk to you. Whereas some other exhibitors, you see the guest trying to avoid the other guy, what have you, or trying to avoid eye contact. It's different. They're coming together.
Right.
So that's one of the key things that really makes it different. The other thing is we set it up, the whole thing is designed just like the breakfast event for business to occur. We're not just trying to get the money from the exhibitor. For example, we always have a special door prize.
Right.
And to qualify for that special door prize, you have to visit and get checked off by 20 exhibitors.
Okay.
So they are forced into going around and getting signed off.
Okay.
So they can qualify for that prize. Now, one point we asked them to visit 40. I saw people running around. I'm like, what's happening? It was too much.
Okay.
I couldn't understand what happened, but that created a problem. So we cut it back to 20. Now they go down the list. They take a look at who they're really interested in seeing.
Right.
So when they come to visit you, they're not just coming to get a signature. They really have a reason or some interest in coming to see you. Again, that makes it that much more interesting of a conversation or a communication between the exhibitor and the guest.
Well, I like that interactivity. And I know, having been to the Breakfast Club, that you run that with a very interactive, and you force that interactivity in the networking. And I'm really glad to hear that that's going to be similar at the trade show as well.
Not only we do even a session on networking itself, just like we do at Breakfast Club. In addition to that, it goes to then, but we also put this in to create that interaction.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, this is a live show, and because it's live, we're able to take questions from the audience. So I'm going to turn and see if Alyssa has anybody for us.
There are a lot of trade shows. How do I decide which one is best for my business?
Yeah, so in a in a normal environment, a small medium business could hit a lot of different trade shows in a lot of different areas. What do you recommend to people who come to you and talk about exhibiting on how to choose the trade show that works best for their business?
It is a difficult thing because I can understand that, because you have to either have an experience about it or visit it, but then again, they can't go to all of them and then make up a decision. I think you'll have to, in a way, at least try to read the website.
Okay.
And get the gist of the intention. This make me think about the Breakfast Club in itself, because I got here 12 years ago. I never had on my agenda to create a breakfast event, much less an expo. But from my point of view, I was not very happy with what was happening, in the sense that, and it makes sense in looking deep into that. Somebody put on a networking event or an expo has an agenda.
Right.
He's executing this agenda. When you come in as a guest or the exhibitor as a guest, the two does not meet.
Okay.
I suggest read the literature and see what is the intention are.
Okay.
And then you get the gist of it. Because Expo, everybody can put table, but what is the philosophic background of the people who are putting it on?
Right.
We design our events so they can benefit the guests, not for us.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's a good point, is make sure that the focus of the expo is benefiting you as an exhibitor.
Yes.
And so make sure that's kind of the first thing.
Yes.
And that it has the same audience that you're trying to reach, and that's who they're trying to get as the attendees. And so make sure that there's a good fit with that.
Yes. You can, I suggest, interview the people putting on the show.
Okay.
What's happening? How does that benefit? How do you serve me? How do I come out? And then that's, I guess, probably the best way for you to decide.
Right.
Because everybody's going to put in the literatures and this, that, the other thing. Well, if you can get a chance, and then they should make themselves available.
Okay.
To answer your question, not
Right.
just a production company to whom you hand the money, but what are they going to do for you? You have no clue.
Yeah, good.
And then you find by spending the money and then maybe not getting anything. Of course, the people who put on an event cannot guarantee they're going to put the money in your pocket.
Right.
But they should be able to provide you with enough information for you to say, yeah, these people really care about me.
Right.
They're doing their best, so I benefit, so this expo is successful for me.
And I like the way that you match the expo with the Breakfast Club and keep that conversation going throughout the year with your attendees and your exhibitors. Like you said, that it's kind of just a formulation of that same crowd that's kind of coming in for a different purpose, rather than just a whole bunch of new people, just as many people as you can get. So I like that aspect of what you do as well. Good. Okay, well, we've talked a lot about trade shows, and we talked a little bit about and touched on what you do, but why don't you just take a minute and just give us a little more detail, especially about the Fairfax Breakfast Club and the Ultimate Business Expo.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting one, because I never planned to do it. It's just one of those things. I came over here about 12 years ago, and I say for once in my life I had a bright idea, for once. I remember that because it never happened that much.
I'm still waiting for mine.
And then I said to myself, there got to be something like Chamber of Commerce. Okay, and then I went. I was in Fairfax, so I went to the Chamber of Commerce. And knowing nobody at all, so to me it was very key to me. And from there I get invited to the different networking organizations and what have you. I'll say this. Any networking event is better than no networking event.
Right.
But from my perspective, I just thought more could be done for the guests. I'll give you an example. I always remember that. I went to a luncheon, I paid about $125. At the end, I had 3 business cards. I understand that I don't have a problem, but I was it struck me a little bit where I'm coming out, I paid $125, I had 3 business cards, which I found out I'm problem with that, but it was not really set up to help me get anything. It was like, come in and then you're on your own. That bugged me. And then one day I said to myself, you handle it. That's how I created a breakfast event.
Okay.
It was, we say, you, Jamie, when you walk into a networking event, what do you want to see happening? We put that in. What is that you're not interested in? We took that out.
Okay.
So the agenda is not what I want. The agenda is what you want.
Right.
In fact, I've yet to find anybody who tells me that they didn't like the breakfast event.
I've been, and it's very good. It's very interactive and kind of gets you involved in meeting people. Mm-hmm. And you meet, it's once a month, right?
Once a month, the second or third Thursday of the month at the Old Town Hall in Fairfax.
Okay, great.
Now, I must say this. The reason is that way, then just to finish off, if you were hungry and somebody came to you and then put in front of you a plate of healthy food, how could you say no to it?
Right.
You can say no if you're insane. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, we're giving them what they want. It's not what Basile wants, it's what you want.
Good. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we close out with you giving us the website where people can go find out more about the Ultimate Business Expo next week.
Absolutely, thank you. It's ultbizexpo.com, ultbizexpo.com. And also the breakfast event is blnbc.com. And I must add, people came to the breakfast, love it. They pressure me into showcasing, but I thought the breakfast should just be for us to get together.
Right.
So to answer to that pressure, quote unquote, I created the breakfast, the expo, so they can have the opportunity to showcase their good.
And that shows the integration between them. Well, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Jamie Gorman, host of Be Better at Business TV. If you like this show, please feel free to share it. But most importantly, we hope that you can use today's show to go out and be better at business.